I would like to start my speech with an Indo-American proverb that says, only when the last tree is dead, the last river poisonous, and the last fish trapped, you will realize that you cannot eat money. Today I am going to tell to you about the implementation of improvements that were carried out in the waste management during the construction phase of the Pacific Refinery project, which will help you to understand the majority of questions that were often asked about this mega project that undoubtedly will bring countless sources of employment, but on the other hand, the great pollutions that brings with it for the environment is very large. Without a doubt, many of the improvements raised will bring very good results and less pollutions to our ecosystem. My name is Carolina Franco, and I have been investigating the situations through all this year, working for the same time as a practical of the Department of Safety and Environmental Management of the refinery and petrochemical project in its construction state, analyzing each of these stakes in waste management to detect the variables that harm the environment and add on thing in the best way. I consider myself an environmentalist, and it was practical the reasons that pushes me to take this research project because every time I speak with my family in the sector, I perceive the concern of the people who live in the surroundings of how this mega project could really affect your health. Well, returning to the topic, the present rich warhead is development in the ground on the Pacific Refinery Eloy Alfaro RDP, located in the town of El Aramo near the city of Manta, within the jurisdictions on the Manta and Montecristi cantons of the province of Manabí. The objective of this was based on the implementation of waste management improvements during the construction stage in order to increase the efficiency of the management. I will start by explaining that in this construction state, the management is welcoming as indicated in the environmental management plan according to the waste management program in which the waste identified in the environment impact study is considered by evaluating the following activities: preparation of the use of area, earthworks, constructions on basic work, construction of temporary facilities, construction of permanent works, finish of permanent works, equipment and other related work. Having already completed the first four activities and in the process of executing the rest. Therefore, carry out a diagnosis for the start upwards to the current situations so that the improvement measures are developed at the step where the negative points are found. The evaluation was based on the analysis of the following categories: legal, technical, operative, economic, financial, health, environment, and finally the impact of the community. As part of the diagnosis, descriptive research, field research, and explanatory research will be used, supported by methods of scientific observations and the analytical methods with internet the contributions of technicals that help in the collections of data through the application of interviewed secondary information within the project, as well as direct observations of the source that contribute to text generations. Reading the investigation, the things were determined in certain parts of the managed source as the bad classification in the source of the waste generated in the industrialization area area and preliminary camp causing the no use of certain materials, as is the case of paper and plastic, generating more waste in the project and consequently in the sanitary life of the Malta Canton, determining that the currents and the unwillingness of the personnel in charge to carry out the cleaning of the areas of store or temporary store of organic and non-recyclable waste could generate disease and the proliferation of health vectors, conditions that directly affect the health of personnel and ties neighboring communities. The local communities of the personnel who perform the collection of household and non-hazardous waste regarding the use of personal protective equipment will also generate negative impact on the health of the worker himself. At the organizational level, there are no specific procedures and measures in the face of the face in waste management, which negatively affect management. Therefore, the efficiency of training percentage is extremely low. I could prepare items recommendations for this, but from my point of view and taking into account the cost-benefit rate that nowadays affect every employer, I will up mainly the intensive development of daily awareness talk on the proper management of waste for the personnel of industrialization and preliminary camps, following up on this from a very well prepared schedule and well and the adequate control by means of a check sheet reading the cleaning and proper classification on the waste at the collection points. Therefore, as you can see at the beginning of my presentation, explained that the fundamental objective of this reach is precisely the implementation of improvements to the current waste management of the construct stage of the refinery and petrochemical project in order to increase the efficiency of the current management. Therefore, the achieves the improvement of it is necessary to encourage the participation of the personnel involved. Finally, I would like to conclude with a quote from Aldo Leopold. We abuse the hair because where there it is if were ours. When we see it's an opportunity which below, we may treat it with love and respect. Thank you very much everyone for listening.